Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking a look at Zúme. It's a system that claims it has the secret sauce for creating self-replicating global movements. So how do they do it? Let's break it down.
Okay, so the entire philosophy, everything, is built on this one simple idea: yeast. And it's actually a pretty powerful metaphor, right? You take something super small, work it through the dough, and boom, it creates this huge, all-encompassing change.
So let's dive into that core idea. And it really all starts with the name of the program itself. Honestly, the name tells you almost everything you need to know. And here it is. It's almost deceptively simple. Zúme. It's just the Greek word for yeast. And see, that's the whole point. The entire system is designed to show how, regular people using really simple tools can make a huge impact. Just like that tiny bit of yeast makes the whole batch of dough rise. So what does that look like in practice? Well, the whole training really boils down to this one simple command: make disciples. But it doesn't stop there. Those disciples are then expected to go on and make more disciples. It's all about creating this chain reaction, right? That exponential yeast-like growth we were talking about.
Okay, but for a system like this to actually work, everyone's got to be on the same page. You need a common language. So Zúme starts by redefining two really foundational terms: disciple and church. So first up, what's a disciple? In this model, a disciple isn't some passive student just soaking up information. No, it's an active, three-part loop. You love God, you love people, and then, and this is the crucial part, you make more disciples. It's a cycle that is built from the ground up for reproduction. And the way they reframe church is just as important. The model pushes the focus away from, say, a big complicated building you have to go to, and moves it toward a simple spiritual family that you belong to. A family that, can meet literally anywhere and can multiply really, really fast.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does it actually work day to day? Well, the system gives every single trainee a simple, repeatable toolkit. Let's take a look at the core pieces of that kit. One of the absolute core tools is something called the SOAPS method. It's a really simple 5-step way to study scripture that pretty much anyone can remember and teach to someone else. But look at that last step. This is key. It always ends with an outward action: sharing. All right, next up in the toolkit is the 3/3 meeting format. This is all about giving every group a clear, repeatable structure. And it's specifically designed to turn, just thinking about stuff into immediate, real-world action. So it's broken into 3 simple parts. You look back to care for each other and check in on what you said you do. You look up to learn something new from the scripture. And then you look forward to set concrete goals for what you're going to do next. Every single meeting has a purpose, focusing on care, learning, and, you guessed it, action. But here's the thing you have to get. These tools, they're not just for your own personal growth. They are the actual gears inside the multiplication engine. So let's take a look at how that engine is actually designed to run. A huge concept that really drives this whole thing is something they call duckling discipleship. It sounds kind of funny, but it's a really simple and pretty powerful idea about how you pass on leadership and learning. The big idea here is that you don't have to be some master expert to be a mentor. Nope. You just need to be one step ahead. Think about it like a line of ducklings. Every person is both a follower, learning from the one in front, and a leader, immediately teaching the one right behind them what they just learned. It's brilliant. So what about when you go into a totally new community where there are no followers at all? What do? Well, the strategy isn't to just, stand on a street corner and shout your message to everyone. Instead, it's a really focused search for one specific kind of person. And they call this individual the person of peace. You can think of them as a local catalyst. They're like the gateway into a new community. This is the person who is already connected, who's open to new ideas, and who can super quickly introduce this whole process to their own network of friends and family. All right, so once you've found someone new, how do you actually train them? The system uses another simple 4-stage cycle. The goal is to turn a new disciple into an independent leader, someone who can then turn around and train other people. And here it is, the training cycle. It goes model, where I do it and you watch. Assist, where I do it and you help. Watch, where you do it and I help. And finally, leave, where you do it and I'm just watching from a distance. See how that works?
It's a simple framework that slowly hands off responsibility until the new person is totally equipped to keep the cycle going on their own. Okay, so when you put all of these pieces together, right, the philosophy, the simple definitions, the tools, the strategy, you can really start to see the ultimate goal of this entire system taking shape. The whole thing is driven by an idea they call a spiritual economy. In this economy, the rules are kind of flipped. You don't get rewarded for what you get or what you know. You get rewarded for what you give away. Real growth doesn't come from hoarding knowledge for yourself. It comes from immediately obeying what you learn and then sharing it with someone else.
And that, right there, is really the main takeaway. Every single piece of this system is engineered to be dead simple, easily transferable, and totally reproducible. The whole goal is to create a movement that just spreads organically, yep, like yeast, without needing any kind of central control or complicated buildings or budgets.
Which, leaves us with a much bigger question. When you look at a system like Zúme, it kind of makes you wonder, what are the essential ingredients, whether we're talking about religion, business, or any social cause, that can actually turn a simple idea into a self-sustaining global movement?